Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a representative of a border state, this subject hits a little close to home, so I'm glad that we've called this hearing. I look forward to hearing the witnesses. In recent years, Mexican towns bordering the United States have experienced exponential growth in violence. The fighting, chiefly the result of drug cartels warring with each other and the Mexican government, have cost 7,000 Mexican lives this past year alone. President Calderon is making a concerted effort to quell the violence. It does not, however, that the hostility will cease in the near term. On the contrary, reports indicate that this violence may be spreading. Despite conflicting reports about how large these cartels actually are and whether the violence has already spilled into the U.S., violence in Mexico is a serious issue that is ripe for this subcommittee's review. The purpose of this hearing is to examine ways in which the U.S. is fueling the violence. In other words, we're looking at ways to explore ways where we can be blamed. The witnesses will testify that America's insatiable appetite for drugs and accessibility to weapons are the source of the violence. While I agree that cross-border sales of guns and drugs play a part, I do not believe in stricter gun controls on Americans and public service announcements will solve the problem. Indeed, we need to open a discussion on a broader spectrum of ideas. First, the U.S. must focus on enforcing good laws on the books. In my home state of Arizona, it's illegal to directly or indirectly sell weapons to criminals, plain and simple. The same is true under federal law. Instead of punishing law-abiding Americans with stricter controls, we need to punish those who break the law today. In fact, U.S. law enforcement has had tremendous success in this regard. This Tuesday, a senior immigration and customs enforcement official testified before another congressional committee. She said that in the last 3.5 years, ICE has made a concerted effort to focus on border security. In this period, the agency has made 4,830 arrests, seized nearly 170,000 pounds of drugs, and captured numerous weapons at or near the border. State operations are also working. Now, I believe that the enactment of comprehensive immigration reform would also make it easier for the legitimate movement of workers on a temporary basis and as well as goods between the United States and Mexico. This would free law enforcement officials to focus their resources and to be more direct on the pressing crimes that potentially endanger our citizens. We must determine the extent to which U.S.-funded anti-drug programs are succeeding in Mexico. To date, we've spent billions on that effort. But instead of limiting the discussion to gun control and treatment programs, we must have a broad discussion of ideas. To that end, I've invited Arizona Senator Jonathan Payton to testify today. He's come a long way, and I appreciate that with short notice. He is a seasoned legislator in Arizona, and he's a lifelong resident of Arizona. He's thoroughly familiar with these matters and a leader in promoting legislative solutions to the cross-border issues. Thus, Senator Payton provides a unique perspective about ways in which border states such as Arizona are tackling these important issues. We can agree that despite our best efforts to fight cartel operations on both sides of the border, violence has gotten worse. That said, serious dialogue must take place between lawmakers and experts about real solutions that bolster security while protecting our rights. Anything less is counterproductive. Sadly, this hearing appears to be more of a discussion about stricter gun controls on Americans than it is about punishing those who break the law. In these discussions today, we need to take care to point out that Mexico is not a failed state, as national rhetoric might suggest. I believe that such characterizations are unhelpful at a time when our friends are going through tough times. President Calderon has taken bold steps to rid his country of corruption. I applaud his efforts and wish him every success, and I think we all should. But I thank the chairman for holding this hearing, and it has a great effect on my state of Arizona and also the security of the United States, and I look forward to the witnesses.